Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a necklace today, and I'm going to use some of the contents of the latest Potomac Beads Treasure Edition subscription box called Nature Lover. I'll put a link in the corner of this video and in the description box below to the unboxing that I did for this box, where I go into a little bit more detail about the subscription and the beads and all. But this is the Treasure Edition. They also have a Kit Edition. In that, I believe you get 3 kits each month with everything you need to make each piece of jewelry. But this is the Treasure Edition, and I'll also put a link in the description box below that'll take you directly to the subscription page on the Potomac Beads website, so you can read about the different subscriptions in case you're interested and see if you want to subscribe to them. In here I have the 4mm Potomac Crystal Bicones. Indicolite is the color. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's the color. I've got the 8mm Czech glass round beads, and seafoam was the color on those. I've got the Czech glass miter shell beads, 2 of them. And here I've got some findings. I've got a lobster clasp, some jump rings, a couple of pieces of chain, a couple of wire guardians, a couple of 2x2 crimp tubes, a piece of chain to use as an extender, a ball head pin, and a little bicone that I'm going to hang off the extender chain as a dangle. And here I've got the copper nugget beads that came in the box, and I've got 4 little bitty spacer beads from my stash. These are the 10mm Hemu wood beads, and I covered some of them, and I've just got them on this wire so that I won't lose where the hole is. I'm not going to be using this wire. I covered some of them using following a video that Anna from Potomac Beads did on their YouTube channel. It's a really good video to show you how to cover these beads if you want to. It's really easy, and she's a really good instructor, so she shows you. It's really good, easy to follow her. I did mine just a little bit differently than she did hers, though. I used all one color in this colored part here. This is Miyuki Duracoat Galvanized Seafoam is what I used here. And the little 15-0s are metallic dark bronze. And she used several different colors and did like a striped pattern, where I've just got the seafoam colored ones. And she used delicas for part of hers. And where going down through here, she did increase. She did 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. Where I've done 1, 2, 3 rows of 3, and 2, and 1. And the reason I did that is because she was using delicas for the part where she did 4. And delicas are a little bit smaller than these round seed beads, so that worked out fine. But when I tried to do it with the regular seed beads, because they're bigger, it made it poof out a little bit more, and it didn't hug the bead like I wanted it to. So I switched it and did 3 rows of 3, where she did 3, 4, and 3 here. So that's the only difference in the way she did it. I've got my soft flix beading wire in fine. This is bronze. Well, I need to zoom back out a little bit now. You can use whatever bead string wire you have, though. I've got my bead stoppers. I've got my chain nose pliers, my round nose pliers, and my tweezer pliers. I've got both pairs of my bent chain nose pliers. I've got both pairs of my crimping pliers. I use the Xuron ones here to crimp, and I use the little circular half circles on each end there. I use those to tuck in my wire when I cut off wire, to tuck in the burrs when I cut off wire. I will only need a lot of these when I make the dangle to go on the extender chain, and have both pairs of my cutters. I use one pair for beads to cut bead stringing wire, and I use the other pair to cut head pins and eye pins and craft wire and things like that. And I have my little New Orleans shot glass to put my wire in when I cut it off. I think that's everything. I'll try to put links to everything I can find links for in the description box below. And like I said, I'll put links to the I don't know if I said, I can't remember, but I'll link Anna's video where she covered these beads in the description box below. And like I said, I'll put a link to the Potomac Beads, the subscription page of the Potomac Beads website, so you can check it out if you want to. So hold on, let me get some of my beads poured out and I'll be back. Okay, I've got my beads poured out here now, and I'm going to string this. So I'm going to use a bicone, one of my 8mm Czech glass beads, bicone, Czech glass bead, bicone, Czech glass bead, bicone. Then I'm going to use one of these little round spacers from my stash. And one of these miter shell beads. And one of the little round spacers from my stash. And then a 8mm Czech glass bead. One of the beads that I covered. Another 8mm Czech glass bead. One of the copper nugget beads. A wood bead that I didn't cover. One of the copper nugget beads. One of the 8mm Czech glass beads. One of the beads that I covered. 8mm Czech glass bead. One of the nugget beads. One of the wood beads that are not covered. A nugget bead. 8mm Czech glass bead. One of the beads that I covered. 8mm Czech glass bead. Nugget bead. One of the wood beads that's not covered. Nugget bead. 8mm Czech glass bead. One of the beads that I covered. 8mm Czech glass bead. Nugget bead. Wood bead. Nugget bead. One of the 8mm Czech glass beads. One of the beads I covered. 8mm Czech glass bead. One of the little spacers from my stash. One of the miter shell beads. Another little spacer bead from my stash. Bicone. 8mm Czech glass bead. Bicone. Czech glass bead. Bicone. Czech glass bead. And a bicone. So that's what I got. So now I'm gonna get my crimp beads and wire guards, and I'll crimp it. Hold on. Okay, now I'm gonna crimp. I'll take my crimp tube and put it on here. And then I'm going to take my wire guardian. I'll squish my little wire guardian in a little bit. I'll go down the other channel of my wire guardian. And back through my crimp tube which is trying to get away from me. And I'm going to make sure that my wires are not crossed. And try to hold them apart. Get it to turn around here the way I want it to. Now I'm going to take my crimping pliers and I'm going to go on that part that has the tooth there. And I'm going to lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube. I'm going to squeeze. And that puts each wire in its own little channel there. Now I'm going to take, there's 3 half circles on each side here. I'm going to go into the middle one because that's the one for the 2x2 crimp tube. I'm going to lay my crimp tube in there and squeeze. Then I'm going to go down to the one for the 1mm crimp tubes and squeeze just to get it a little tighter. And I'm going to tug. Well, that's good. So now I'm going to cut off my wire. Now I'm going to go down to this end and cut my wire off my spool. I'm going to take my crimp tube, my wire guardian, go down the other side of the crimp tube, the other channel, back through my crimp tube, make sure not to let my wires get crossed. I'm going to tuck my little wire guardian in like I did on the other side. Now I try to go through a bead or two on this side so I can get my hands out of the way when I'm trying to crimp. Hold on to the wire guardian and pull the wire through. Okay, now I'm going to make sure there's no slack in my piece, but I don't want it to be too tight either. Get it to turn around here the way I want it to. It's trying to misbehave today. Trying to twist around on me. I'm going to go into the part with the tooth again. Lay the tooth on top, squeeze. I'm going to go into that second part, second circular part again. Squeeze. Go down to the first part and squeeze some more. Tug. Left a little bit more slack in there than I meant to, but I guess it's better than it being too tight. Now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. I think I'm tugged on that. I don't remember, did I? Yeah, it's okay. So that's what I've got now. So So now I'm going to get my findings and put them on. So hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to put my findings on now. I've got a couple of pieces of chain. They're about 3 inches each. And I'm going to take I've got a 6mm jump ring. Put it on one side of my necklace. My chain. Make sure to get my jump ring closed back really well. Take my other piece of, or another 6mm jump ring. Just do the same thing on this other side. Oops, this jump ring's really thick. I'm going to take another 6mm jump ring. Put it on this end. Put my lobster clasp on here. Close my jump ring back. I'm going to take, this is an 8mm jump ring. Put my chain on, put it on my chain here. Chains wanting to stick to my pliers. Now I'm going to put my extender chain on here. It's about 1.5 inch piece of extender chain. So that's what I've got now. Now I'm going to make my little dangle to go on my extender chain. Take my ball head pin, put my bicone on here. Take my pliers and go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend it over the pliers at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers, put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight and pull this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Take my chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Take this down until it's at a 90-degree angle with this wire. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. I want to get that first wrap good and tight, and then I'm just going to wrap till there's no more room to wrap. I'm going to take my cutters and cut off the extra wire. I'm going to take these crimping pliers and use that little part at the end with half circle on each side and tuck in my burr that's left where I cut off the wire. You just want to be really gentle here because you could crack that bicone if you're too rough with it. And now I'm going to take the last link on my extender chain. Open it up, thread on my little dangle. So there we go, all done. So hold on, let me get some of my beads. Well, I don't have any beads cleaned up, but hold on, let me get some of my tools put up and I'll be back. Okay, there's my necklace made with the contents of the most recent Potomac Beads Treasure Edition subscription box called Nature Lover. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description box below that'll take you directly to the subscription page if you want to read about it and see if you want to subscribe to either one of their subscription boxes. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, hope y'all have a great day. Take care.